What's up, guys, and welcome to a casted ranked 1v1 game. I had the pleasure of watching this one live on Twitch, and it was unique, fun, featured a ton of crazy plays, and I'm very excited to take a closer look. Spawning in the top right of Arabia, we have the up-and-coming Definitive Edition player from Norway, Skillyourself. And his opponent in the bottom left, playing as the Teutons, my fellow countryman, the sunglass-wearing strategy king, Survivalist. Now, this game was played on the same day that the latest Definitive Edition patch was released, and it did feature some changes, as we are seeing the woodlines got some adjustment on Arabia, no longer spawning all in the back and on the sides. You do have a chance of spawning forward, side, and back woodlines, and it is mirrored. So if you are having two woodlines forward and one in the back, your opponent will be having the same. So Survivalist on his stream was playing the Teutons with a strategy command, letting the chat know that he's playing men-at-arms archers into longsword guard towers. Skillyourself playing as the Tatars with no idea this strategy is coming, and we will see how he reacts, how he plays this civ going forward. Survivalist, somewhat known for his unique strategies, plays a lot of Byzantines, uses a lot of trash units, but he is definitely one of the top Canadian players. Usually found around the 2K1 mark. Very, very solid player. Meanwhile, Skillyourself, I believe, was a player that came over from the HD edition and quickly rose through the ranks. And he is 2K1 himself, a very, very strong player. And it should be a very good matchup. The Teuton Scout of Survivalist on the way. Gonna poke around the base and take a look. Tatars and Teutons should be an interesting civ matchup as we go on. Tatars obviously with a very, very strong late game comp. Very likely to be going CA. Is Survivalist going to be losing his scout here? Indeed he is. Takes one whack on the town center. One glorious HP missing, but Survivalist losing his scout. That is a big deal at the pro level. Tosses an 11. He's going to be opening up with the barracks, as we mentioned. Losing the scout is a big deal at the pro level, especially when one did have plans of going men-at-arms, as he now is not going to be able to get the intel he wants. He's not going to be able to know what Skillyourself is doing. And his knowledge of the resource distribution and where he needs to do damage is going to be minimized. But he is going to commit to the strategy. He is still queuing up the militia, so he's undeterred despite losing the scout. And he still wants to get those men-at-arms going. Committing to one lumber camp for now, getting the gold mine up. And Teuton's committing to the one lumber camp should be should put Survivalist in a position where he can afford horse collar early, as normally Teutons would be wanting to transition into knights in the Castle Age. Though Survivalist's follow-up will be different. But Horse Scholar still likely an upgrade. He wants to sneak in the mix. Militia heading forward. Skillyourself committing to the same strategy as well. He's got the militia ready to upgrade. And will they be crossing paths? Indeed, they're going to miss each other. Skillyourself is going to wrap around and come in for damage from the top side. Survivalist has exposed berries. Gold that's quite easily defendable, close to the town center. One woodline only, so that could pose issues. Militia are in on the base though, and some very fast walls coming up for you. Skillyourself doing a nice job. Survivalist just going to keep poking around with the men-at-arms. And honestly, even if you can't find damage, forcing up as many buildings as you can, committing some vills to walling, forcing idle time, still going to be nice, though he is going to want to get some value out of the men-at-arms investment. Gold still wide open. Range is up for Survivalist. Men-at-arms now sneaking by there. Survivalist seeing it, dropping down some pre-walls on his gold to keep this safe. And likely will be doing the same on his lumber camp. Men-at-arms trying to... Oh, one vill almost. Oh, now Survivalist sees it a little bit too late. Doesn't react quite in time to pick off that vill there. He's going to loop around and try to find some damage on these vills, though we have an archer out for Skill Yourself. So the value of these Men-at-arms, that timing window with that power spike is quickly diminishing. One archer chasing the Men-at-arms and spearmen as well from Skill Yourself. And he's going to be heading for the wood line. He thought about it. He's trying to get an engagement here. No blacksmith up just yet for Survivalist. And I think that's a hole, is it not? Yeah, it's definitely a hole in that wood line. That's an unfortunate mistake, sir, for Survivalist. And the Men-at-arms are in on the wood line. And that is not what Survivalist wanted here. He thought for sure that was walled. Spearman goes down. At least he has the archer putting some damage in. One vill goes down. Two vill goes down. He needs to get this one out and save her. On a very nice wall here to trap those Men-at-arms in. And now the archers will finish that off. That was well done from Survivalist, but at the cost of two vills. I think he maybe could have tried to pull that trick off a little earlier. Very unfortunate for him to lose the two vills there. Skill Yourself off to a nice lead, and meanwhile chasing off the Men-at-arms from Survivalist. Minimal damage being done there. Blacksmith is up though for Survivalist. Fletching is in. Gonna start placing some houses out here. Probably gonna start working on the beginnings of a wall around his base. Horse collar coming in for Survivalist, and archers beginning to be massed up. Meanwhile, Skill Yourself on the other side is sending his archers forward. No fletching just yet for the Norwegian, but he is on his way to Survivalist base, and we're going to have some archers meeting in the middle here. Armor as well coming in early for Survivalist. And they're going to be crossing. Oh, and Survivalist catching these archers, not patrolling. This is really nice for Survivalist here as he catches 2 or 3. I think he's going to clean... Yeah, a really big cleanup here for Survivalist. That was huge. You can see the military count heavily snowballing in Survivalist's favor here. Now he has the opportunity to go forward across the map and get some counter damage, and he needed that after losing those 2 vills early. So the fletching archers on the way across the map. Skill Yourself now back at home is going to be switching into skirms and armor. Exposed wood line here, so Survivalist has lots of angles to pressure. Is that a hole? That is definitely a hole. So a hole there for Skill Yourself. Not, I mean, I guess he's not really attempting to full wall at this point, but we'll see if that comes into play. The Men-at-arms are certainly going to use that here. They're so low HP though, I don't think anything's going to happen here. Not too much to worry about for Skill Yourself. He's going to fight this off with the archers and the skirm. That is quite a bit of archers though from Survivalist. He does have 7 archers, and Skill Yourself going to wall this up. As long as he's careful here, he shouldn't lose any vills. Does a nice job here though. This lumber camp is exposed as well, but he does have the defender's advantage, being able to rally his enforcements in very quickly, and is on a decent number of skirms with armor. I don't think Survivalist is going to be able to take any effective engagements here with his archers only. And indeed, with the skirms in the mix, Survivalist being forced back. Full walls coming for Survivalist, meanwhile back home, as he is plugging up his base completely. Loses 3 archers there, and looking to move back and take this hill. I think he just has to retreat home though. I don't think these archers are able to take any engagements against the +1 skirms. Gonna micro, gonna try to pick off the archers in the group. Does get one nice little pick there by Survivalist to thin out the archers. He knows that if these skirms come forward, they're not going to be able to harass his economy much. If he can take out the actual damage dealers in the group, then he has much less to worry about. On the retreat now though, back to his base. Wheelbarrow just finished for Survivalist. Looks like one more vill, and he is going to be up. Skill Yourself though, meanwhile behind this, very, very close to the Castle Age himself. So the walls are actually finished at Survivalist base. Meanwhile, Skill Yourself not really committing heavily to walls. Does have the map control right now. But we'll see how long that will last going into the Castle Age, as it is in for Survivalist. Taking Skill Yourself on a trip all around the map here. I wonder if Skill Yourself potentially could have broken off and tried to find some of the damage. Desperate to track down these archers though, and Survivalist opens the hole, and he is going to be letting Skill Yourself in, actually. So he does have 2 skirms though in the mix, so he led him all the way around the base on quite the adventure here. But he did use that time to get himself some skirms out, so he should be able to take a decent engagement down here by the goal. A little bit risky letting Skill Yourself dive very deep, though Skill Yourself is breaking off the skirms. I think only the archers onto the gold miners would have been effective. Survivalist with some nice micro here, picking off the archers, doing a really nice job. Doing a really nice job, as these skirms will now provide little trouble to his villagers. Castle Age nearly in for Survivalist and still committing heavily to the skirms. In fact, building another range. So, wow, really heavily. So likely he's going to be going Elite Skirm to try to push back what he believes to be the inevitable Tatar crossbow and Cav Archer. He's going to be chasing these skirms down, though I don't think he's going to want to chase them forever. Likely, yeah, indeed, that he is going to start rallying them forward to Skill Yourself's base to look at using this army and tech advantage and get some damage in while he has that power spike. 2 archers though being split off for Skill Yourself, and this is such a nice move. You can park these 2 archers right here and deny this whole wood line. This is a really nice play from Skill Yourself here. And the wall is broken and a single vill is coming forward. E-Skirm nearly finished for Survivalist, and a castle going up immediately. Skill Yourself planning to go Keshiks. Should be quite nice against the Elite Skirm of Survivalist. Rallying all his army forward. Personally, I kind of wonder about the E-Skirm commitment. I wonder if just switching to Knights would have been the better play. But I am simply a pleb compared to these players, so what do I know? A 1 vill watchtower coming up behind this wood line. This is nice. It's going to deny both these wood lines. A cheeky little 1 vill tower from Survivalist here. Meanwhile, going to dive his army under the town center fire and look to get some damage in on this gold. Nice play by Survivalist, and he had pikemen researching for just a moment. Honestly, it's probably looking like the better tech with the Keshiks on the field. Okay. He researched pikemen, and then it was obviously a misclick, canceled it, put longsword and leather archer armor in the queue, and upon seeing the Keshiks, promptly canceled both of those. His 1 vill cheeky guard tower is wrecked. His E-Skirm commitment is looking not all that good, and now it is again pikemen in the queue. Still being annoying with those ranged units. Survivalist in panic mode now, plugging the gap, and needs to start getting some units out that are going to deal with Skill Yourself. 1 military unit right now for Survivalist. Heavy on stone though, so his tower plan didn't particularly work out, but he's going to have the stone very soon for a castle, whether that be defensive or aggressive. Bloodlines wheelbarrow incoming for Skill Yourself, committing to the Keshik strategy for the time being. Still is only on 1 town center. We'll see how long it takes before Skill Yourself starts to expand. And the pikemen are on the way for Survivalist. Armor incoming. Gonna be needing some more barracks though. And a siege workshop coming at defensively as well for Survivalist. Wondering if a monastery maybe would have been the better call to defend against these Keshiks. I don't think the siege workshop is going to be doing a ton defensively in this situation. Extra town center coming up from Skill Yourself. to secure his top wood line here. And a third town center coming up on his stone. So more castles definitely in the cards for Skillyourself. Wants to continue the commitment to the Keshiks. Obviously, they give gold when attacking enemy units. So the gold income earned from the Keshiks is going to be quite nice. Full trash here from Survivalist. And a siege tower. Siege tower in the queue. So siege towers and trash and a whole lot of bills now coming forward from Survivalist. And if Skillyourself's not paying attention, this could be nice, but he is on point. He does lose one Keshik though, and he has to rethink his angle of attack. One Vil plugging the gap, and here comes the forward from Survivalist. One siege tower loaded up with the pikemen. How many Vils? 11 Vils and his elite skirm now on the way forward. And Skillyourself stonewalling and house walling up. He sees what's coming. Cav Archer switch as well coming for Skillyourself. Gonna try to pick off some of the Vils in the mix. This is gonna be, oh, and the castle coming up aggressively for Survivalist. So that's going to deny a big chunk of the forward wood line. Fourth town center as well coming up for Skillyourself. He's looking to boom this one out heavy. Man, look how fast the siege tower is. This is insane. So many pikemen hidden in there. One thing the Teutons are known for is a lack of mobility against cav archers. Is Survivalist utilizing this siege tower to get around that lack of mobility? Pops out, sees the arrow fire, pops back in. A lot of pierce armor on these things, so the cav archer's not going to be doing much. Just has to be careful about not taking any damage from the Keshiks and retreating all the way back to his castle. And some KP boys, some Teutonic Knights on the field. Survivalist going to be moving into Teutonic Knights, going to be putting them in his siege tower. These boys notorious for being one of the slowest units in the game. They're going to jump in this siege tower, and suddenly they are going to be gaining a whole lot of mobility. Survivalist, that cheeky little one Vil watchtower that he started, he's going to finish it off with one Vil. How fitting. Another watchtower meanwhile coming up on the right side. This guard tower eating a lot of shots though. Sorry, guard tower. The siege tower eating a lot of shots. And he's going to drop the infantry out right on top of the Vils. Not getting much damage there. He's going to pop them back in. Castle coming up on the hill for Skillyourself. Survivalist forced to retreat once again. Siege Workshop coming right on that fourth town center of Skillyourself. Survivalist going to drop the units out. Going to try to get some damage here on the Keshiks and CA. Oh, he's actually in the mix, but the castle behind it. Eliminating, getting a double kill on those pikemen. Survivalist, again, forced back. Battering ram on the way in his forward siege workshop. Villager count for Survivalist being on 1 TC, really not that heavy in Skillyourself favor. It is starting to creep that direction though, and with 4 town centers, it is definitely going to start ever expanding. Survivalist though content to put his wood economy into more siege towers. Here we go, let's see what he can get done. Another castle coming up on this hill meanwhile for Skillyourself. That's actually quite nice, getting him some map control in the mid there. That's definitely one that he wants to control. Meanwhile, battering ram on his town center here. I think he's gonna have to let this one go. I don't think he has the means to defend against this at the time being. Second battering ram out as well. Survivalist. What a ridiculous army comp, as it's pikes, E-skirm, Teutonic Knights, battering rams, and siege towers. And my goodness, another watchtower coming up on the right here. Town center does go down, and he's got a pike complement inside his battering ram. All right, Survivalist decides now is the time to regroup and press forward. Time to change our angle of attack. Where is he headed now? Is he gonna look to try to get down this castle here? No, okay, he decided, no, I'm not changing my angle of attack. I'm going to commit to the push into this somewhat exposed area of Skillyourself space. If you can get rid of that castle, there's a lot of exposed economy in this region. Imperial Age is in, though, for Skill Yourself. He is going to have a... petards? Where are the petards? Petards being made in the castle, and another one coming up. Skill Yourself putting castles all over his base. So once he gets up to the Imperial Age, he's going to have a really nice army comp. But, oh man, look at this. The siege tower just zipping past the defenses of Survivalist, getting right in, drops the pikemen. But those CA are just too quick. Back in the siege tower, chasing down the cav archers. Oh, and the petards being used defensively against the rams. He's actually making the petards as a ram defense. Maybe? Or is he? Do they do good? No, they do terribly against the rams. For the food cost, they do terribly against the rams. KP boys, meanwhile, popping out of the siege tower. Battering rams, sorry, trying to get some damage on the vills here. One ram goes down, man, and Survivalist is swarming the base of Skill Yourself right now with military. The military count heavily in his favor, committing to the trash. And, oh man, some pikemen even getting damage over here. This is just an absolute mess right now in the economy. We have Teutonic Knights and pikemen under the town center of Skill Yourself getting Vill kills. And it is only a 30 Vill gap, despite Skill Yourself being at 1 point on 4 town centers. Survivalist, though, losing a lot of his siege. The siege tower going to go down as well. The Vill's repairing. So the push from Survivalist is pushed back, and the military numbers that we saw heavily in the favor of Skill Yourself are now looking very even, and Skill Yourself with a age tech advantage. He is in the Imperial Age, and we have Timid Siegecraft on the way along with Chemistry. Timid Siegecraft, of course, giving him the ability to train Flaming Camels. We'll see if that unit comes into play. Meanwhile, Survivalist has work to do. A second town center was built, and a third now. On his stone, he is going to need to make something happen. He needs to overcome a significant build deficit. Where are these petards going, man? I don't know why he's maybe... And yeah, oh my goodness, that is a lot of Flaming Camels. 15 Flaming Camels in the queue for Skill Yourself. And I have a feeling at this point he's recognizing the unique strategy that Survivalist is taking. I don't think the petards should be doing this. They just really don't do all that well against military. They're for buildings. But we are seeing a very unique strategy from Skill Yourself, as like we were saying, he sees the unique strategy from Survivalist and decides he wants to do some of the same. That is a big time Flaming Camel commitment. He is really messing up these bad boys and getting ready. Survivalist, though, meanwhile behind this, has the resources, and he has clicked Imperial Age. And the Vill count is not all that far off. Skill Yourself, I mean, he's not really... He's making a few Vills. He's mostly committing to Flaming Camels, though. Ideally, he wants to get that population up, and he's wasting a lot of time. Should not have let this castle stayed standing. Really should have dealt with this upon hitting Imperial Age with some trebuchets, but he's going to leave it up for the time being, as he has committed to the Flaming Camels. And here they come on their way to the base of Survivalist. Cav archers with Chemistry. There we go, busting through the palisade, and here we go. We have a we have an opening into the base of Survivalist. Where are these Flaming Camels going, though? Are they gonna... Oh my goodness, they're destroying that town. Oh, destroying the town center, but how many did he lose there? The Flaming Camels really don't do that well against buildings. He needed the petards for the town center, and then just absolutely shredded the Vills. Oh, he he could get a really nice... Right in here, right in here. Send the flaming camels in here, man. This would kill a lot of villagers right here. This is reasonable to say that the flaming camel strategy from Skill Yourself is not paying out. Villager count nearly even, and Survivalist somehow, despite a massive score difference, he has somehow managed to claw himself back into this game. Or perhaps more, it was Skill Yourself's best efforts that have allowed Survivalist back into this game, but committing to unique strategy. And we will see where the game progresses now that both players are in the Imperial Age. Skill Yourself using his trebs to take down the encroaching watchtowers from Survivalist. Castle going up on this mid-hill for Survivalist, and we're probably going to see a treb war up top here. Can he deny it with the flaming camels, though? Maybe. With Keshiks as well, this actually looks like it could be pretty good for Skill Yourself, but he decides no. He decides to send, or does he? Decided to send the flaming camels home, then decided against it. And they are getting some damage on those ills, but he's just too late. If he committed a bit earlier, I think he likely maybe had a shot at denying that. Now the Teuton Castle is up though. Free murder holes. Camping under that is not going to be pretty for Skill Yourself. Populations dead even for both players here. Castle finally getting trebbed down. Probably something that should have happened a while ago, but nevertheless, Skill Yourself taking down Survivalist forward position. One solitary single lonely ram. Not sure exactly. Oh, is he going for the trebuchet? Can he get the trebuchet? So close. Can he get it? Is he even going for it? He should. He could get it. Where's this ram going? All right, well, not getting the job done. Meanwhile, here come the flaming camels on the right side of the map from Skill Yourself. Will he find some damage? Forging on the way, more Keshiks in the queue for Skill Yourself as well. Meanwhile, Survivalist committing to the trash pikes. Elite Skirm and Halberdier nearly finished for the Teuton player. Flaming camels, can they deny this town center? They could, but they won't. They could. And maybe it looks like left on stand ground. What is going on here? Skill Yourself, my man. Where are these flaming camels going? I have no idea, but meanwhile, wow, big time treb war here, but Survivalist taking a much better engagement here. Treb's going down for Skill Yourself. Halberdiers, Skirm, both castles, mutual destruction. Though Survivalist coming out ahead with the military here. Pressuring now, Byzantine style with full Halb and full Skirm. Skill Yourself still committing to the flaming camel strategy. Trebuchets of his own, still cleaning up the remnants of the watchtowers of Survivalist's somewhat failed trush. Halberdiers uprooting the potatoes of Skill Yourself, and Skirm of his own on the way. Halbs all over his economy though. Lots of idle vills to sort out. Town center coming up on this little bit of wood line left here. Keshiks, meanwhile, underneath the town center. Not sure if that's the place he wants to be, as only the +1/+1 is in for Skill Yourself. That is not a winning position for those Keshiks. Meanwhile, now, this castle is being pressured, but the trebuchets under threat from the flaming camels. Here they come. One treb goes down, two trebs go down, three trebs go down from the flaming camels of Skill Yourself. Survivalist losing his expensive siege. A lot of Halberdiers and Skirm in the queue though. Population lead is now the way of a Survivalist, so he's clawed his way back into this game. Keshiks though could be good. Skill Yourself finally getting +2/+2 on his cavalry. He doesn't really have an answer for the Halberdiers that Survivalist is spamming onto the field right now. Halbs and Skirm taking an engagement against the Keshiks in the mid here. Survivalist just needs to get the Halberdiers on to the Keshiks. We'll see what else Skill Yourself has in mind for a unit comp. 40 on food. He's actually got a lot on food, but for some reason he seems to have very little in his bank without a heavy production. Survivalist looking to control this hill, looking down into Skill Yourself's base here to be a really nice position for him to continue to push from. Ring Archer armor as well coming in. So E-Skirm and Keshik. So the E-Skirm should deal nicely with Survivalist's Halberdier raids that he's attempting. And the Keshiks are going to clean up the E-Skirm. Survivalist sensing the encroaching Keshik army coming, pulling his E-Skirm back, and a castle coming up. Or did he think better of it? Looks like he decided against that castle there. Basically pop-capped as well. Survivalist doing a nice job of coming back from his failed Trush into failed Siege Tower Ram push into a very nice Imperial Age Trash Rush. Halberdiers not wanting to take an engagement right on the E-Skirm. He's going to task them to the left, try to get an engagement on the Keshiks. Meanwhile, he's going to try to get his own E-Skirm onto the skirms of Skill Yourself. And he is going to look to get this castle up, though I think those skirmishers are standing in the foundation. I don't think that's ever going to go up. Keshiks, meanwhile, looping around, going to try to get an engagement in on the elite skirms. Survivalist changes the placement of the castle and is trying to get it up now. Trash units, just a mix match and a mess here from Survivalist. Skill Yourself looping around with the Keshiks. Going to look to probably try to take out the Vils. More Vils incoming, though, from Survivalist. This could be a crucial moment in this game here. A lot of Vils being committed by Survivalist to get this up. Keshiks, they got a few Vils for sure. Meanwhile, the Halberdiers finally made their way over and are going to push off the Keshiks, though the skirms, I think, cleaned up the Vils. I don't think Survivalist is pulling the boys and sending them forward to get this castle up 63.89%. Can he do it? He's got the trash now in overwhelming numbers, taking this hill. Skill Yourself having to pull back and not able to deny that castle. And this is going to be a very nice position for Survivalist to now push into the base of Skill Yourself. One lone Flaming Gamble, not sure what he was trying to do, didn't get a whole lot done there. I think it's at this point that Skill Yourself needs to dial down the memes and dial up the units that are going to win in this game. Elite Keshik, Iron Casting on the way. He did sneak in the Plate Barding armor as well. He's going to have no shortage of gold if he commits to Keshiks. Elite Keshik is going to do a lot for him as well. So we'll see what he decides to commit here to get this one going and back in his favor. Skirm on skirm action coming under the town center of Skill Yourself. Survivalist just retreating back to that very strong position, but there are some trebuchets that Survivalist is going to have to deal with if he wants to keep this forward position, and he needs to do it very, very quickly. This castle going down in a hurry. Needs to task some repair bills onto that. Meanwhile, big engagements happening right under the castle. The Keshiks, elite Keshiks now, diving right under. He has the stone. Why is he not repairing? Supplies and long swordsmen coming in on the same day that they're receiving the buff. Reduced cost on long swordsmen and reduced cost on supplies, as well as extra melee armor, of which Teutons already have a bunch. So it is going to be infantry line all the way for Survivalist. Needs to find a way to deal with these trebuchets. This castle is so close to going down. He's got the stone in the bank, though, to keep the repair bills up. Keshiks, meanwhile, looping in, trying to deal with that treb. He doesn't really have anything to pressure that. Maybe bombard cannons could be quite nice for Survivalist to deal with these trebs. This castle hanging on by a thread. Skill Yourself doing his best to pressure this position. Meanwhile, raids coming in as well in the south of the map from Skill Yourself. Keshiks doing a fantastic job. Survivalist not seeing that whatsoever. A lot of bills going down on his town center. Meanwhile, the castle is thriving now. It's up over half HP. as Survivalist managed to take out the Trebs with his Halberdiers, sending in the Halbs against the Skirm now. Losing a Treb himself, he needs to secure this position. The long swordsman switch is real though for Survivalist. Skill Yourself with Blast Furnace coming in. He's committing so heavily to the East Skirm, he doesn't realize there's a long swordsman switch coming behind it. But that could end up proving really nice for Survivalist. I think even if he just commits the long swordsman and Halbs, he should be totally fine. So many resources in the bank for the Canadian. Skill Yourself, 6 on gold only. Does have, of course, the Keshiks, but they are not generating him a ton of value right now as they're actually taking out this town center. I think there's probably a better use of the time of these Keshiks, perhaps raiding the main economy of Survivalist. Nevertheless, Survivalist having to pack up his trebuchets. A lot of Keshiks now in the main battle here for Skill Yourself, but here comes the infantry switch for Survivalist, and these dudes have a lot of melee armor. Once they become champions, I'm actually curious to see how they're going to end up taking fights against the Keshiks. Light Cab, meanwhile, incoming for Skill Yourself, and what is going to be his switch here to deal with the infantry from Survivalist? Doesn't really have the gold in the bank to be switching to crossbows or cav archers, though that did shoot up in a hurry, eating up the infantry there. And they're gonna dive this trebuchet. Survivalist, ooh, yeah, trebuchet easily going down. Keshik's gonna camp under that, but again, Teuton's free murder holes. Skill Yourself is donating his Keshiks here, needs to react and pull these off. Man, we're donating the Keshiks for nothing. Meanwhile, the Keshiks took my advice. They are in on the main economy of Survivalist here, finding some damage. Man, Survivalist has a crazy number of champions. He's got 40 champions with another 15 in the queue. This is ridiculous numbers. If he just like patrols into the base of Skill Yourself, does he have anything that can deal with it? How are they going to stand up against the Keshiks? Man, they're eating them right now. They are eating the Keshiks, and the champions of Survivalist moving forward. And they are just going to waltz right through. Raids in the base of Survivalist were cleaned up by his halberdiers. More flaming camels from Skill Yourself. Oh boy, oh boy. Arson now in for Survivalist, sending the infantry forward. That is a few too many units though to deal with. But the champions are all over the economy of Skill Yourself. He goes right for the monastery. Very heads up play by Survivalist. Goes right for the monastery, takes out those 3 relics. They are out of commission for Skill Yourself, not sitting on much gold now. Champions all over the economy of Skill Yourself, taking down farmers, taking down town centers. Here come the flaming camels though, not getting a good engagement. That one disappeared. Not getting the engagement he wanted with the flaming camels. The Hussar spam is real though from Skill Yourself. Man, Survivalist has a lot of champions. The limiting factor right now is the food. He needs more farmers so he can keep spamming out these champions. Champions eating town centers on the right-hand side of the map as well. The Hussar trying to track these down and deal with this. Survivalist just has to sprinkle some halberdiers in the mix though. And I mean, even the champions on Hussar is gonna do the trick from Survivalist. Sprinkling some halberdiers though in the mix would be quite nice as well. Man, they eat the Hussars, absolutely eating the Hussars. Now moving back to the town center. Meanwhile, more champions flooding in on the left-hand side of the map, and more champions in the main eco of Skill Yourself. Survivalist flooding champions right now, and it is working. Population down to 130 for Skill Yourself. He just has no gold, he has no food. His farm economy is so diminished. He is not able to spam the Hussar in the numbers that he needs. And what is the road back in this game for Skill Yourself? This is massively turned around. He's only on 77 fills. There was a point in this match that it looked like Survivalist had no chance, but he has put himself back in the game. So many champions, man. Over 50 champions. And look at the barracks coming up on the left-hand side of the map for Survivalist, sending the Halberdiers and the champions in. Skill Yourself with some stables of his own on the left to try to get some raids in, but he simply doesn't have the food economy right now to get the Hussar out in the numbers that he needs. Skill Yourself needs to stabilize and find an answer to these champions right now. Survivalist continuing a heavy push on the left side. Doesn't even need Siege, man. These champions are Siege. Absolutely ridiculous attack plus arson on these guys. They melt buildings. Lots of town centers on the left-hand side here for Skill Yourself. Right before the picking of Survivalist. Survivalist. Skill Yourself, meanwhile, though, coming in with some E-Skirm to try to deal with this cap ram, though, on the way for Survivalist. He's going to be accompanying this champion push with siege workshops and capped rams. So many champions with more in the queue for Survivalist continuing to push. Does Skill Yourself have enough to hold against this? I don't think so. I don't think so. Another big push coming down the mid. Survivalist attacking from all sides. A push coming from the left, a push coming from the center, and a push coming from the right. He is playing all over the map right now. Melting the trebuchets, the Teuton champions, getting the job done right now. Skill Yourself. Population is dropping, and that is the GG. What a game from Survivalist with a very unique strategy with the Siege Tower Teutonic Knight push into Trash Trebuchet spam into the champion push to close out the game. What a fantastic game. I am super glad to have taken a closer look. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to have more videos up in the future. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and until the next time, take care, and we will see you very soon.